LEX 18 News.
Severe weather strikes much of the country. That includes Kentucky. We'll show you how local counties spent the day getting ready and what has them worried.
Plus, 2 people taken into custody in connection to a March shooting death in Lexington. Their names ahead.
Remember what Mama Gump said? Stupid is as stupid does. Let's don't be stupid.
And President Trump given a rare bipartisan rebuke by the Senate. How Kentucky's members of the high chamber come into play now. LEX 18 News at Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning to you at 4:30, and thank you so much for watching LEX 18 News at Sunrise on your Thursday, April 3rd. I'm Evelyn Schultz.
And I'm Michael Burke, and as you can see, we're joined by storm tracker meteorologist Emily McKinney, who tells us we do have a tornado warning in effect.
Yep.
So let's get right to that.
Yeah, after Bill spent basically the entire night tracking these storms, we now have more to talk about. I'm going to flip us over to the Jackson radar, so of course we can kind of see what we're dealing with here. A new tornado warning has just been issued for parts of southern Pulaski County as well as Laurel County. I'm going to look over here on the Jackson site to see what we are dealing with here. We've got this storm that's been coming through. Of course, we know that has been producing not only severe thunderstorm warnings, but also tornado warnings. We're going to walk you through this here. Again, you can see the tornado warning that is issued for, again, parts of Pulaski County. This is going to be until 5 a.m. So we got about 30 minutes to go on this, and we're going to try to stay wall to wall on this unless we see that the tornado warning expires. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here so we can see. We also have a lot more that's back over to the west. But again, we're going to be watching this particular cell that's trying to move into the Somerset area right now. Let's zoom in here, get a closer look. And again, I'm going to try to switch over to the Jackson radar so that way we can see a little bit better maybe as far as the actual radar and the returns from this. Yeah, this is a better look. So there's a lot of lightning. There's some extremely heavy rain with this system. Again, this is going to be for western Pulaski County. Zoom in a little bit more here. We can see kind of what towns we're dealing with. You've got a lot of heavy rain and the potential for maybe some circulation right around the Delmer area. This is going to be just north of Fraser. So again, this is moving to the east and the northeast. Again, this is all a part of that large system that we were talking about, tracking the severe weather overnight. You've got also have a lot of really heavy rain up around the Science Hill, the Eubank area. But again, what we're watching right here is right around Delmer. Let's go ahead and switch it over to storm relative velocity so we can see. Yeah, it looks like there could very well be some rotation within this system. You've got the green that's going toward the Jackson radar, and you've got the red that's going away. So your circulation is going to be right here over the Fraser area. So if you are in western Pulaski County right now, I believe this might even be the northern part of Wayne County, you need to be in your safe space right now. Again, green going toward the radar over in Jackson, and the red moving away from it. So again, tornado warning. This is going to be pushing all the way out as you move on over through the Pulaski County area. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. So we're looking at some of those brighter colors showing up when we have the brighter reds and the brighter green colors showing up. Of course, that lets us know that there is maybe even some tight rotation. If this were more of a broad rotation, may not be quite as concerned about it. But again, tornado warning for parts of Pulaski County and just northeast of Monticello. Monticello, you are okay right now. Again, we're really just kind of watching right around the Burnside area and the Delmer area. Let's go ahead and click off that. Let's go back over to radar. We're starting to see maybe just a little bit of a little notch starting to come down here. Again, this is not good news. Somerset, you need to be in your safe space right now. Burnside, you need to be in your safe space right now as well. This warning is going to be pushing on over even toward the London area. Let's look to kind of see what towns and cities will be around in the next half hour or so. There was the last little bit of. So you've got the Alcalde area in 3 minutes, Meese in 5 minutes, Colo in 7 minutes, Poplarville in 10 minutes, all the way down towards, say, Mount Victory in 14 minutes. Let's go back over to Get rid of some of this. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So again, tornado warning, you can see that's for southern Kentucky. We also have a few more that are back over to the south and the west. We have the severe thunderstorm warning that's issued, but we're hyper focusing right around the Somerset area right now. We're still under that tornado watch as well. And we've been watching some of the cells that have been in Tennessee. And of course, these look to be intensifying a little bit more. You got a lot of lightning that's pushing from, say, the Berea area down through Somerset. So again, tornado warning in effect right now for Pulaski County. It does include far northern Wayne County, but the worst of the storm is now pushing into the Somerset area. Again, Somerset fairly populated. So we're going to kind of zoom in here and kind of get a look at maybe some more of these towns and also roads. The Chipola area right now, Ferguson, Somerset, Cedar Grove, Burnside, you all need to be in your safe space right now. Also up around the Burnsburg area, Science Hill as well. Got some extremely heavy rain going on with this. A lot of lightning. Let's take a look at Shear. See all of the red that you see that's around the tornado warning, that's the tornado watch. Let's look at shear rate. So there is a little bit of shear. That's the spin in the atmosphere that we were talking about. So when you've got the shear, when you've got the spin in the atmosphere, that allows for a little bit more kind of fuel for any storm that could be supercellular to kind of pick up on that twist and turn that into a tornado. So again, we're looking at a couple of spins that are going to be going by here. Let's go back to storm relative velocity to see if there's still a tight rotation, and it does look like there is. Again, when you have these brighter greens showing up and they're really close to the red color, that's a pretty good indication of some of that twist and some of that spin. Let's go back over to radar. Again, we're using the Jackson radar because we're kind of pushing away from max track right now. It's quite a bit of a distance, and so this is able to pick it up a little bit more. Again, Somerset, the storm is right upon Somerset right now, and even pushing down again toward the Fraser area. Any kind of this that's coming down on the south side is what we want to be a little bit more aware of and concerned about. So Burnside, Cedar Grove, Elihu, Ferguson, Somerset, even Ruth, Colo, you need to be in your safe space right now. Again, this is a tornado warning that is ongoing for about another 20 or so minutes until 5 a.m. We're going to continue to stay here as long as this warning is in place. Let's zoom out a little bit. You can see, again, a lot of heavy rain with this system. We've been talking about the potential for that extremely heavy rain just kind of spread out over the last several days. But obviously, the worst of the weather is going on right now and really has been all of the overnight stretch. So again, tornado warning. If you are just now joining us here, we barely got to the headlines of the 4:30 show here on Sunrise this morning and already talking about severe weather, as Bill Meck has been covering this all night long. So again, tornado warning in effect for southern Pulaski County and also western Laurel County. The far northern tip there of Wayne County, but the worst of the storm is past Wayne County. So Wayne County, you are okay. It's the Somerset area that I'm concerned about right now. Let's try to zoom in and see if we can get a look at maybe some roads that this is moving through right now. Continue to zoom on in, move it up a little bit. Ferguson, again, Somerset, this storm is right up on you. See if we can keep going, get some roads. This is going to be stretching from the Oak Hill area, also Bourbon, Ferguson, Somerset, Elihu, and then of course stretching all the way down a little bit farther south. This is kind of that little bit that wants to curl around. This is kind of the hook echo of the tornado, if you will, if there is indeed. Of course, I don't have any of the watches and warnings up, so I can't tell if there's anything being reported right now, but I'm assuming that there's going to be some intense wind with this system. This system has had a history of producing wind gusts up around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So, of course, that could be the case. And many of you may be waking up right now and trying to get your day started. I would, of course, encourage you to hold off on that and wait until this storm has passed you. So, again, Somerset, you are in the thick of this right now, kind of on that northern edge of the tornado warning, but still, nonetheless, you need to be in your safe space right now. Places like Mill Springs, Fraser, you're okay. Delmar, Chipola, the Betsy area, Hardwick area, I think you're okay from this storm system again, but we're tracking it, and it's kind of moving a little bit more to the north. So we'll continue to watch this for a few more spins of radar to see if this is going to continue to move kind of more to the northeast or if it's moving more to the north. Let's go back over to the shear rate.
Emily, in the interest of allowing you to catch your breath, if my mic is open here, in the interest of allowing you to catch your breath, for those in Pulaski County right now, the Somerset area, how would they know if something's getting a little too close for comfort?
Well, you're going to see a lot of strong winds picking up with this storm. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're going to be hearing those winds whipping. You've got a lot of heavy rain and lightning. You're probably going to be feeling it in the atmosphere, almost like an electric charge. So, does that answer your question?
Well, mine and hopefully for our viewers, yes.
Yeah, again, we've got that twist in the atmosphere. We've got the shear rate, of course. Let's go back over to storm relative velocity. Still looking like there is at least a little bit of spin. It looks like it could potentially have been weakening a little bit. Also, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Probably severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible. I would imagine maybe they are seeing what I'm seeing, maybe a little bit more of a weakening. When you get that really tight spin, that's when the storm gets stronger. When you start to see it broadening and expanding a little bit, that's when it starts to weaken. So we are hoping that that is what is the case right now. If we were to zoom on out, you can see, yeah, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning in place. So that is going to be for parts of Pulaski County. That is also going to include Rock.
For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike.
The rollout announcement at the White House straight ahead.
You're watching
Tornado warnings overnight and into early this morning. So again, we're going to stay on until this one expires. So again, 5 o'clock this morning, and I have no way of knowing if there are any kind of reports of storm damage or anything coming in. Let's kind of take a farther out view, switch it back over to radar. This is the Jackson radar, so it's allowing us to see a little bit more of what's taking shape in southern Kentucky right now. Still have another tornado warning that is over in Lawrence County, so that is just outside of our viewing area, Johnson County as well. So we're not going to be concerned about that one. That's out of our viewing area, out of our range. But again, Somerset looks like you might be in the clear from this storm. Let's move back in. So the storm is moving just past Somerset right now. There was another sweep that came through. Still on the eastern side of Somerset, you are still dealing with some extremely heavy rain, some very strong wind gusts. I would imagine up around 70 mile per hour winds right now. The worst of the storm kind of pushing up to the northern part of this tornado warning. That's going to be for the Ruth area, Colo, Dykes, Bent, Acorn, Grundy. You're right on the kind of the precipice of that, of the line of the tornado warning. Somerset, Ferguson, Cedar Grove, you're past the worst of it. I would still stay in my safe place for maybe give it another 5 or 10 minutes or so. Let's move back over to storm relative velocity. This shows us the spin. Okay, I think that this is good. We're starting to see that kind of continue to move up to the northeast. However, it does look like it is broadening a little bit more. Every spin, I feel like it looks a little bit different. So we're going to continue to focus kind of on what is going on here. Focus on at least the spin that's going on, or at least the couplet, if you will. So again, the green means it's going toward the Jackson radar, which is to the northeast. Red would be away. So your spin is going to be right around the Dykes area. just south of Acorn. There was another spin. It does look like it's separating. If you see the green, the bright green colors and the red really close together, almost touching, that's when that couplet or that spin or that storm, that supercell gets really tight, and that means it's spinning very fast. Once we start to see maybe just a little bit of separation there, that is a sign that it could be weakening. Again, I have no way of receiving warning, so I would imagine that hopefully this will be allowed to expire in the next 10 or so minutes at 5 a.m. However, we're going to continue to analyze this until we see the storm fizzling and fading, and then eventually that tornado warning dissipating. But again, Pulaski County, especially eastern Pulaski County. And again, this storm is going to be pushing on over into Laurel County next. So eventually you're going to get up toward the high top area. East Bernstadt, Pittsburgh, London, you are going to be receiving this storm very soon. In fact, let's go ahead and kind of draw it out. I'm going to leave it here because this is pretty much where that spin would be if this storm is producing any kind of rotation. This is where it would be, just east of the Dykes area, south of Acorn. See if we can get any closer and see any more of these names. Goodwater, just north of Mount Victory. Again, this is going to be pushing out of Pulaski County pretty soon and then moving on over toward the Laurel County area. So again, if you're just now joining us on Sunrise this morning, good morning. We have a tornado warning in effect. This is for Pulaski County, and it's going to move on over toward Laurel County, and it will be expiring at 5 a.m. Let's go back over to our radar. This is the Jackson radar. Again, I know a lot of that heavy rain is right now kind of moving into eastern Pulaski County, even parts of Rockcastle County really dealing with some strong storms and some really heavy rain, probably some very strong wind gusts right now. So far from these storms, this line has had a history of producing maybe 58 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but as far as a lot of damage, there really has not been a lot of damage reported. However, I know it was basically in the overnight stretch, so maybe you're waking up this morning and just now realizing that you have damage. You can report that to the National Weather Service. You can also send us your storm reports. So again, tornado warning that is still ongoing for Pulaski County as well as Laurel County. Pulaski County moving over into the western part of Laurel County, and this is going to go until 5 a.m. We also have kind of the larger polygon that is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in place, and that one is in place until 5:30 a.m. So it's kind of extending all the way out toward the Manchester area in Clay County. So once we get rid of the tornado warning, then we may be able to breathe just a little bit. But there are still some extremely strong storms with this system that we were talking about and have been dealing with pretty much in the overnight stretch into this morning now, kind of kicking off your Thursday on a very active note. We've got some extremely heavy rain. We're starting to see this kind of maybe not look quite as intense. So with every pass and sweep of the radar, we are hopefully starting to see this storm maybe fading a little bit or fizzling some. You can kind of see the break in between the green and the red on the radar. Still some rotation there. I'm calling it broad rotation. It doesn't look like it's very tight, but we're still watching this pretty closely. And this is kind of now pushing over toward the Pulaski and the Laurel County line. So again, London, you are going to be next to receive this storm. You can kind of see the tilt of the tornado warning, the polygon, the box there, maybe even be moving closer toward the East Bernstadt area rather than London. And the warning is just barely going to clip the Tri-County area right around Corbin. Let's look back at velocity product. Some of those brighter greens starting to fade just a little bit. I like to look at the storm relative though, because it shows the red and the green together. Obviously, we still have that tornado watch in place as well. Most of the lightning, probably the strongest part of the storm, trying to push maybe just north right on the border and just north of the polygon of the tornado warning. So have about 7 more minutes to go on the actual warning. I would love to know if that's going to be expired or not. I would imagine so. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at kind of the bigger picture. Let's go over to radar. Still have a lot going on right now. Eastern Kentucky just really receiving a lot of those stronger storms. We also have more that's back down and over to the southwest, including Nashville. There is another tornado warning right now for the Macon County area in Tennessee. So we're watching that one as these storms continue to kind of move up to the northeast. It could very well move into a little bit more of favorable environment, what we're dealing with right now in southern Kentucky. So let's kind of focus once again our attention, southern Kentucky. Right now up in Lexington, we're in the clear from the lightning and the thunder and the strong winds. We just have those general showers right now, kind of the garden variety showers, because we had those stronger storms that pushed through. We even had a couple of tornado warnings for Lexington earlier this morning around 2 a.m. or so. Those probably woke you up. So again, let's kind of focus right now. Our attention still on Pulaski and Laurel County. Most of this is pushing out of Pulaski County. Again, it's right in the eastern part of Pulaski County, and eventually we'll be moving on over toward the border and then into the London area. So again, tornado warning in place right now for 5 a.m. If you are in the path of this storm, which would be, zoom back in here, just get some of these smaller towns. Goodwater, Acorn, Anno, Squibb, Billows, Conrad, Bloss, Lunner, Bernstadt. If you are in these areas, you need to be in your safe place right now. We say the best place to be is if you have a basement, go to your basement. If you do not have a basement, get to the lowest level of your home on the ground floor. If you have a closet or a bathroom that is kind of in the middle or the center of your house, that is the best place to go. Also, try to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Take something with you, something very sturdy to kind of put over you. Again, if you are dealing with a tornado warning, that's always what we recommend. Let's see, let's go back over to storm relative velocity. Yeah, this is for sure weakening. So that is good news. Now, don't let your guards down. Still stay in your safe space. We've got Bernstadt that's coming up, East Bernstadt, Pittsburgh, London, Hazel Patch. You're going to be kind of receiving a lot of this heavy rain and the possibility of rotating storms as well. But I would imagine here in about 3 or so minutes, this warning will hopefully expire. And then, of course, we'll just have those severe thunderstorm warnings in place. So again, you can see the tornado warning. That's the flashing red box. You've got the severe thunderstorm warning. That's the orange polygon. And that one's going to go for another 30 minutes. So that one will not be expiring until 5:30. But the worst of it, obviously, the tornado warning. Somerset, you are okay now. Science Hill, Burnside, you all can come out of your safe place. We're still looking at a lot of lightning, a ton of rain. And this, unfortunately, is just the start of the rain that is coming. We've picked up between about an inch and a half for many of our viewers last night and into early this morning. Okay, so we've got London. You're going to be the recipient of a lot of this, the potential rotating storm that is coming up here in the next 5 or so minutes. Zoom back in. Acorn, Whetstone, still seeing some very heavy rain in Mount Victory. I'm thinking that the worst of the rotation is kind of trying to move over on the border of Pulaski and Laurel County. We've got some really heavy rain up in the Lunner area, Hazel Patch. A lot of heavy rain kind of falling right now in Rockcastle County as well. If we zoom out, of course, you can see that Mount Vernon, Broadhead, Livingston, right in southern and the eastern part of the county of Rockcastle. Some strong storms that we've been dealing with for the past week or so, and we do have the potential to receive more strong storms coming up a little bit later on this afternoon and this evening. So we are still not out of the woods just yet, unfortunately. So got a couple more minutes to go on the tornado warning. This is going to be expiring at about 5 a.m. but it's still for eastern Pulaski County. That's where the worst of the storm is right now, and really trying to push up into southern Rockcastle County. So we're still going to be watching this very closely. Even once the tornado warning does expire, we'll still have the severe thunderstorm warning in place for another half hour or so. And then, of course, the tornado watch is ongoing for another 2 hours beyond that. So still the potential for... All right, here we go again. Another tornado warning has been issued for parts of Pulaski County as well as Wayne County from an approaching storm system. I'm going to kind of get my graphics together here. I'm going to switch back over to the Jackson radar because that one's going to show us maybe a little bit more for southern Kentucky. And this time I'm probably going to keep an eye on the Jackson weather chat to, of course, let me know whenever this storm is going to be expiring. So right now, again, tornado warning for southern Pulaski County. This is going to go until 7 a.m. Also, it includes northern Wayne County and far northern McCreary County. Again, until 7 a.m. You'll also have the severe thunderstorm warnings back over to the west. We were watching some of those storms from the southwest, from Tennessee, starting to make their presence known in Kentucky. And we were dealing with a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And now, of course, this has transitioned back over to a tornado warning. So let's kind of zoom in here and let's see exactly what is going on with the storm. Again, I'm going to switch back over to, let's see, Jackson radar. And of course, you can see where the storm is the strongest. It is just getting ready to kind of push out of the Monticello area, out of Wayne County. Let's kind of continue to zoom on in. Burnside's going to be in the path of this storm coming up within the next 5 or 10 minutes. So if you live in southern Pulaski County, if you live in northern Wayne County, you need to be in your safe space right now. Again, tornado warning just issued from the National Weather Service in Jackson, and this one's going to go until 7 a.m. So we're still tracking this for about another 30 minutes or so. Got some really heavy rain with this, not a ton of lightning to show. Let's look at severe, or at least a storm relative velocity, showing a little bit of return for us. Again, kind of tracking the potential for some rotation right around the Hardwick area. Again, the same location that we had about 2 hours ago or so as we started your sunrise show at 4:30. Hardwick, Betsy, Fraser, the Quinton area, Burnside, Cedar Grove. Again, southern Pulaski County. Been kind of hit hard twice this morning with some of these storms that are moving through, at least the potential for a rotating storm right over Hardwick right now. Of course, let's see, the parts far western Pulaski County, southwestern Pulaski County, probably okay right now. Still some extremely heavy rain that is falling. Let's go back over to radar. You can see some really heavy rain again. Not a lot of lightning. I would be I was a little surprised to see there's not as much lightning. Let's zoom out, kind of give you a look here. Again, this is going to be moving out of Wayne County and then into Pulaski County. Even Somerset still has the potential to pick up some really strong storms from this particular cell that is moving through. So again, tornado warning in effect until 7 a.m. for northern Wayne County and southern Pulaski County, as well as far northern McCreary County until 7 a.m. A very heavy rain. These storms have had a history of producing the possibility of hail, but more so some rotating storms. And we've been watching this rotation kind of develop off and on through the nighttime stretch, and then of course now into this morning. So if you are in the path of this storm, if you live in Fraser, if you live in Hardwick, if you live in Burnside, even if you live in Somerset, you need to be getting to your safe space right now. That is going to be a basement if you have it. If you do not have a basement, you need to get it to the lowest level of your home. Usually a closet kind of on the interior of the house, putting as many walls as you can between yourself and the outside elements. So in a middle of the house bathroom or a middle of the house closet, under a staircase, that's a good place to go. Again, if you do not have a basement, take something to protect yourself with, books or a bicycle helmet, even a mattress if you have that. So again, tornado warning, this is going to be impacting the Burnside, Alpine, Hargis, Hale area, Greenwood, Funston as well. And again, this is pushing through the same location that we just saw about 2 hours ago for southern Pulaski County. If we look at the bigger picture, again, all of the other severe thunderstorm warnings have expired. We had several of those up in the northeastern and eastern part of Kentucky. We're still looking at this line, very strong line. Lots of strong winds associated with this, again, as well as the potential for some tornadic activity. So let's kind of zoom back in here, kind of give you a look at what is going on as far as tracking the very heavy rain and the potential for maybe some rotation. Let's look at shear, showing a little bit of shear right on the border there of Pulaski County and Wayne County. Again, shear is your twisting in the atmosphere, so that's going to pick up that column of air and potentially give it some more power, if you will. There's also the potential for some hail with these storms. We haven't seen a whole lot of hail being reported. We've had more things like trees down. We've had some storm reports in Estill County. We've had storm reports out of Garrett County. Caleb Barnes has been reporting on that. I'm not seeing anything as far as your classic like hook echo, so at least that is good. Let's go back to storm relative velocity. Again, green is going to be going toward the radar in Jackson. The red is going to be going away from it. So if we had any kind of signature of, well, let's go back over here. If we have any kind of signature of rotation, then it would be right in here. It's not going to let me do it. So you got the green, again, that's going toward the radar, the red that's away. What I'm not seeing is a lot of really strong red, so that is good. Obviously, the background is still within that tornado warning. It's still the tornado watch that's going on also until about 7 o'clock this morning. So hopefully once we move closer to 7 o'clock, we'll get rid of a lot of this energy, hopefully. However, we still have the potential to pick up more strong storms as we move, not only throughout the day, but even into this evening as well. So again, if you're just now joining us, we've been tracking these strong storms all night long. Hardwick right now, you've got some of that rotation going on around you right now. Quinton, you're going to be next. Burnside, Cedar Grove. Again, this is going to be pushing into the Pulaski County area. Keno, you're seeing some really strong winds right now, as well as Delta. Obviously, some very heavy rain falling within this system as well. Let's go to radar. This is out of Jackson. We're still tracking the potential for a tornado, or at least a rotation, some rotation within this thunderstorm. So again, we got some extremely heavy rain, not a lot of lightning. So the lightning is actually kind of a good sign that maybe the storm is trying to weaken, or maybe it really wasn't super strong to begin with. We do still have the severe thunderstorm warning back around the Russell County area as well. And that one is still until about 5:45 a.m. So about another 8 or so minutes Eastern time. That would be 6:45 Eastern time. Still a lot of heavy rain associated with that one back around Clinton County as well. So let's get rid of that. Again, we're just trying to focus on the tornado warning that is still tracking the same place that we had another tornado warning that moved through southern Pulaski County just about 2 hours ago. This one also is going to continue to move kind of to the northeast and head up toward the London area. Let's go back over to storm relative velocity. This gives me the best idea to see if there is any kind of rotation. I'm going to try to zoom in on some of these town names as well. Kidder, you need to be in your safe space right now. Hardwick, Fraser, Quinton. So it looks like the tornado warning has been dropped off from from behind. So let's zoom back out. You can see it has been dropped off for at least part of Wayne County, still pushing into the far eastern part of Wayne County. And then, of course, that tornado warning is going to be continuing into southern Pulaski County as well. I'm going to step over here and I'm going to see what Jackson is saying, if they're going to continue this storm or not. Again, tornado warning issued for southern Kentucky, southern Pulaski County, as well as Wayne County. So we're watching this to see if there's any kind of damage reports, or let me check in here with Jackson to see what they are saying about the tornado warning. They're going to continue it at least for another few minutes. This does also include the northern part of McCreary County. This is radar indicated, so we're just looking for some sort of signature, some sort of rotation within this thunderstorm. It is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour, so that's a pretty good clip. So hopefully it will kind of encounter, and one thing that's really good about this, hopefully, is that this area was already worked over this morning. So hopefully a lot of that same energy that these storms need to continue going is not going to be there anymore. But I was talking about this radar signature here as far as, let me turn my cursor off here so I can see what I'm doing, about the rotation that's going to be right at the border here, just southwest of the Burnside area. So of course, if we are tracking this, it's going to be moving to the northeast. You can see southern Pulaski County. There's another tornado warning that was just issued for Clinton County. Technically, that is not in our viewing area. I will mention that one. It is also moving to the northeast, so we'll just deal with one at a time here. Again, let's go back over to radar. You can see obviously very heavy rain. I'm not seeing a really tight rotation. Now, I mentioned earlier, when you start to get the colors trying to come together, and they're really close together, that's more of a tighter couplet or a tighter rotation, if you will. So there at least is something there, which is probably why they issued the tornado warning. And again, that's until 7 a.m. So we're still tracking this for another 20 or so minutes, unless I see that they are going to expire that. So we're just kind of taking over news for now, just like we did at the beginning of sunrise this morning from about 4:30 to 5 a.m. Let's go back over to radar. Again, this is Jackson radar. Okay, so they've expanded now the other tornado warning that was for Clinton County and now pushed it into Wayne County. So now we have two separate tornado warnings in place. One is for Wayne County, and that's from the cell that's back over around Clinton County and the Albany area. So they're just kind of projecting it out for another half hour or so, saying that, well, this is the direction that the storm is going to be moving. I do not have access to Bowling Green's National Weather Service, which I guess technically is Louisville. Let me switch over to Louisville. So they have issued that tornado warning from the Louisville National Weather Service. Now I'm going to I'll keep up with two different weather services, Jackson and Louisville. Again, if you're just now joining us in this last half hour of sunrise, it's been a very active overnight stretch and into this Thursday morning. We're still tracking two tornado warnings rather. One is for southern Pulaski County and northern McCreary County, and the other is for Clinton and kind of comes out of Clinton and moves back into our area in Wayne County. This one also clips far southwestern or western Pulaski County. So again, Pulaski County had the same type of tornado warning earlier this morning, so we're still tracking the severe weather moving through almost the same areas. Let's go back over to velocity. Sometimes it's just easier for me to kind of work it here from the computer. So that is why you're not seeing me on your screen. So Albany definitely looks like there potentially is some rotation with that one. Again, what I'm hoping is the case is that as this tracks to the northeast and continues to move over atmosphere, move through atmosphere that's already been worked over, that hopefully these storms will continue to fade and fizzle. But for now, this second one that was issued for Wayne County, that one's until 7:15 a.m. So still another 30 minutes to go on that one. And the one for southern Pulaski County, of course, that one's until 7 a.m. If you live in Hardwick, Fraser, Delta, Keno, Quinton, Burnside, you need to be in your safe space right now. Again, this is a tornado warning. We've had the tornado watch, and that's going to go until 7 a.m. And most of this, it looks like the tornado watch rather, is just for southern Kentucky right now. It looks like a lot of our northern Kentucky counties have been dropped off from that. You can see the red shading that's going to carry it into eastern Kentucky. But again, I'm looking at this right here, where the green and the red meet. This is where the rotation is going to be. That's where the strongest of the winds will be. Let's see what kind of inflow we've got here. 46. Possibility of about 40 mile per hour winds. Again, the storm is moving to the northeast around 50 miles per hour, so it is moving pretty quickly. So hopefully we'll start to see some changes here coming up. Let's go back to radar. Still tracking that very heavy rain right now. Again, I'm not seeing a lot of lightning with this one, which is a pretty decent indicator. You don't always have to have lightning with tornadic cells. However, lightning indicates a lot more energy to work with and fuel to work with in the atmosphere. So again, 2 tornado warnings in place in southern Kentucky in our area, Wayne County, and then the other one is Pulaski County. Wayne County is until 7:15. Pulaski County's tornado warning is until 7 a.m. These are moving over some of the same places that the other one did earlier this morning. You've got stretching all the way up to Somerset from the Delta area, Nevillesville, Greenwood. Again, Greenwood, Funston, those are in northern McCreary County, which technically is not in our viewing area, but we're covering it anyway. A lot of heavy rain that's trying to push out of Wayne County right now, and then of course move on into the Pulaski County area. I'm not seeing an update from this. Trying to look to see if there's any kind of update on the issuance of the tornado warnings. Possibility of hail exists within these, but again, I haven't seen a whole lot of reports of even small hail within these storms. It's mostly just been a lot of wind, whether it be straight line wind or rotation within thunderstorms. And obviously the rotation would signify and kind of trigger the tornado warning. Okay, let's go over to storm relative velocity. Let's check this again. Again, it hasn't moved a whole lot. Still just kind of sitting over northeastern Wayne County. The storm back around Albany is moving now into Albany. So again, if you live in southern Kentucky, if you live in southern Pulaski County, you need to be in your safe space right now. Burnside, you're going to be up next to receive this storm, as well as Alpine, Hargis, Hale, Poplarville, Colo, Ruth. Again, some of the same places that I mentioned about 2 hours ago with another tornado warning that moved through. Let's go ahead and switch it over to Max Track. Let's see if this gives us any other. So now there's another severe thunderstorm warning being issued, but again, kind of hyper focusing on the tornado warning that is at hand right now. In a lot of these places in southern Pulaski County, you will be next to receive this bad weather. A lot of strong wind, a lot of heavy rain. Let's go back over to radar. You can see pockets of heavy rain. Again, I am not seeing any lightning with this. Obviously, this is part of the large system that we've been tracking now, or we've been talking about for the past 2 days. Had a lot of cut-ins, a lot of time on air overnight, and then of course it's just continued into this morning. Let's see, Jackson. We have the potential for the flooding risk that is coming up in the next several days as well. Some extremely heavy rain that's falling right now just south of the Lexington area. You've got pockets that are pushing up into Rockcastle. Again, kind of the same situation that we had. Again, which I think is interesting that all of this has happened just within a couple of hours each other. I was hoping that a lot of the atmosphere would have already been worked over to where there wouldn't be as much energy. I'm not getting any updates from the Jackson National Weather Service or Louisville. Okay, so let's just continue on. We've got about 10 minutes to go on this particular tornado warning. I'm going to keep an eye out to see if they go ahead and drop that off or not. Again, if you're just now joining us, a couple of tornado warnings in progress. One is for southern Pulaski County. This includes Burnside, Eclipse, Somerset. If you live on the south or southeastern side of Somerset, you need to be in your safe space right now. We've got a lot of these smaller towns that are just kind of under the worst of the weather right now. Burnside, Cedar Grove, Quinton, Fraser, Hardwick, Keno, Delta, Alpine, Hargis. All this is moving kind of to the northeast around 50 or so miles per hour. And then we're also watching another strong cell that is now pushing into the Albany area. That's going to eventually move into Wayne County following the tornado warning that's in southern Pulaski County right now. Let's go back over to storm relative velocity. Still looks to be some sort of rotation in the eastern part of Wayne County, northeastern part of Wayne County. Okay, let's see. I may not have radar data. See, that one is sweeping. Okay, so this is max track. Go back over to the Jackson site in just a second. Seems like it's frozen on me. Yeah, nothing has moved with Jackson. Let's go to Louisville. Still looking like an area of concern south of Somerset on the southern part of Pulaski County. Checking to see if they have given us any kind of warnings. Okay, let's go back to radar. I'm trying to get Jackson. Let's go back to max track. Once we get down into southern Kentucky, we start to lose radar data for southern Kentucky. Okay, so they're going to expire the tornado warning for Pulaski, Wayne, and McCreary County. That is this one here. So at 7 o'clock, which we're about 7 minutes away from that, they're going to go ahead and allow that one to expire, assuming that all the rotation, what we're seeing is starting to fall apart and dwindle. So that's good. But what we do still have is the storm that is back over into, let me check Louisville's radar, that is getting ready to push into the Albany area. This one is still ongoing. So again, 2 tornado warnings in place. The one for southern Pulaski County is going to be expired. If you live in southern Pulaski County, I would say still stay in your safe place for about another 10 minutes until about 7 o'clock and kind of let the worst of this storm kind of move on through. Again, got some heavy rain, some strong wind, but it's losing a lot of its shear. It's also losing quite a bit of its storm relative velocity or any kind of rotation within the thunderstorm. Okay, let's Louisville. Okay, so we're gonna have to keep with probably Louisville's radar. I think Jackson's might be down. So again, a couple of tornado warnings in place. One is for Wayne County, the Pulaski and far northeastern Wayne County tornado warning is going to expire at 7 a.m. So still about 5 minutes to go on that, but again, a lot of that's kind of coming back down. If you do need to get to your safe space, remember sea duck, get to the center of your house. If you can, put as many walls between you and the outdoor elements as you can. If you have a basement, go to the basement. Obviously put something sturdy on top of you, bicycle helmet if you have it, just a way to protect yourself. Again, everything else in Kentucky is okay right now, but we're still watching this line that's been working its way up from Tennessee and kind of moving into southern Kentucky now around the Lake Cumberland area. So that is why we are staying on, because tornado warnings are very serious. And so we've got the one that has expired for Pulaski County. It just hasn't come off just yet. I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with Jackson's radar. Let's go back to Max Track Live. Getting a sweep there, showing the latest that's coming out in heavy rain, obviously falling right now in the Burnside area. Moving even into Somerset and Pulaski County, but kind of hyper-focusing on southern Pulaski County right now. Let's go back to Jackson's radar so we can see what's going on in Albany. Okay, well, Max Track has a sweep for sure. Let's go back over to, let's see if Jackson's severe. This will tell me if it's, no, so it hasn't moved at all. So I think Jackson's radar is down. Louisville's may not be working either. Okay, let's go to Max Track. Again, tracking some very heavy rain. We have 2 tornado warnings that are in place right now. These are all in southern Kentucky. We do have a strong storm that is trying to move into the Albany area right now. I'm going to look up radar on my Storm Tracker weather app. Hopefully that can tell me kind of where these storms are sitting right now. Okay, it does look like the worst part of the Albany storm let's just do this. Let's go to